Good morning. Hello, everybody. I have had a lot of questions come in about the Holistic Women's Health Practitioner Program. And with registration ending this week, I thought it would be a really good time to pop on and just explain a few things. Um, so, one of the most commonly asked questions that I'm getting right now is, are you running the program this year? So the reason I get asked that question is if you didn't see my post, yes, I'm very pregnant right now. um, and yes, I am running the program. Classes start on September 3rd. Um, and I'm running the program this year because honestly, there's a lot of you that are passionate about this topic. It's one of the only programs I'm going to be actively engaged with while I'm out. But yes, I am running it this year. So don't worry. The only thing that I'm going to caution you on is we start September 3rd. If I go into labor, my fearless office manager is going to be reaching out to you and saying, so we're not going to meet live this week, but we'll meet live this week instead. Okay. So as long as you're willing to be flexible with that and know that the first couple of months, I might have to juggle an infant, or I will tip the camera up because I might have to nurse, things like that. Then everything is going to be business as usual when it comes to this program. So, why is that the case? Well, the program runs September to May. So, I didn't want people to miss the beginning stages of this or change the timeline because I feel pretty attached to this September to May idea. The reason for that is if you're busy with kids and all of that, nobody wants to have to study stuff over the summer. I can tell you, as somebody who has multiple certifications, that there's nothing worse than trying to do homework when your kids want you to go play in the pool. So, I didn't want to impose that kind of timeline on anyone else. The other really nice thing about it is the fact that you are finished in 9 months' time. So I have pursued quite a few certifications and I have a couple of advanced degrees, and I had to do a lot of study. Some of it was during the summer. It took multiple years to finish, and I don't want that for you. So, the Holistic Women's Health Practitioner Program starts in September and it ends in May. You have a test at the end in order to complete your certification, but then you have the summer to yourself. And you can start doing work with practice clients before you even graduate. So, the idea of this program is that it's set up for all different types of learners. So, if you are a visual learner, the way that the lectures are set up, there are visual slides, there are handouts so that you have the visual. I'm a visual learner. If you are an auditory learner, you can just listen to the lectures in between. The beautiful part about this structure is that it's really unique and one of a kind. You have some pre-recorded stuff, but you have an entire week to do the material and cover the material. So you can work it around sports schedules and work schedules. And, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a working professional, it doesn't matter. I was juggling 3 children in my household, getting some of my certifications, and being a working professional as well as a studying professional at the same time. And I know how big that workload is. So, this program was designed with a busy person in mind to make it as easy for you to be able to get this information. Um, in a digestible way, but also not feel like you're being left alone because not only are there pre recorded modules, there's also a live component. And you have a Slack channel in between. in order to be able to ask questions as they arise. So, as you're studying, if you have a question, dump it in there. If you have the question, it means there's probably somebody else that's had that same question. So, it's going to benefit everybody to just dump the question in and have me answer it in between. So, that is going to be something I promise I'm going to do on maternity leave is if you have questions and you put it into that folder, I will answer those around being nap trapped and nursing and adjusting to life with a newborn. But we meet live once a week, 3 weeks on, meaning that we meet live 3 weeks out of the month and 1 week off. Why is that? Well, sometimes one of our live recordings might fall on championship soccer night or national honor society induction night or whatever, right? And you might not be able to get out of it. That's okay. I had one person that had a once a month conflict with our Tuesday night meetings this past year, and this system works really well. I record the live and then we put it in the folder afterwards. The idea is that if you have to miss a class, you're not missing the information, you're not missing the discussion, you remain on the same trajectory as the rest of the class. So we stay together as a class because part of it is community building, but part of it is being able to stay at the same level of understanding and nobody feels like they're being swept under the current and being left behind. So, so you have a week essentially with no live recordings in order, sorry, it's getting loud around me. But there are no reasons to get behind because you'll have an entire week to be able to catch up on anything you missed or re-listen to something you were like, I felt like I understood it. And then we had the live class and I feel like I need to go rewatch fill in the blank. You can do that. So the idea is that you have plenty of time to digest the information, to integrate the information and make it yours so that you can continue moving along and everybody stays at the same level of understanding. So 3 weeks we meet live, 1 week we are off. If you are like all caught up on your stuff, you get a week off. Good for you. Game on. Catch up on episodes of the Reproductive Rebel podcast. If you haven't listened to it, I'm the hostess of that show. And that's what this program is building a workforce of reproductive rebels. We are, as women, the most gaslit population when it comes to the medical model. There's a whole host of reasons for this. You know, we weren't included in medical studies around drugs or body functions or anything like that until the 90s. 1990s. Like, that might sound like a long time ago for some of you, but for some of us, like, it doesn't seem like it's been over 30 years. Um, and there isn't a lot known. Like, you know, they talk about space being the uncharted frontier. Like, no, I really think women's bodies are. Um, and we're not little men. So that's the perspective that this class is taught from. What are the nuances that are unique to women, energetically and physically? Being able to meet them in those spaces, being able to support bodies with natural approaches, pelvic steaming. You're going to get a little intro to sound therapy. We're going to talk about some of the psychosocial reasons why people have a hard time with orgasm, with their periods, with pelvic floor dysfunction, infections, and so much more. So, this class, it does not matter what your background is that you're coming in with, there is something here for everybody. So, if you are a working professional, maybe you are a functional medicine professional, maybe I have an OBGYN that is coming into the class this year, which I am super excited about because this is where that synergistic, true holistic work can happen. And I love that this traditionally trained practitioner is open to adding other modalities to her toolkit in order to be able to best serve her clients. So it doesn't matter if you could be a functional medicine practitioner, a massage therapist. We've had a couple of those come through the program. You could be a sound healer. You could be an herbalist, although wait just a little bit because I do have an herbalist focused version of this course um, that is open for registration, by the way. It's called Herbal Traditions for Women's Wisdom. That registration is open. It's a shorter program, but it is specifically catered to people who have some herbal background. And then we just build on that in terms of the women's health toolkit. So, but this is designed for somebody who doesn't have an herbal background. Maybe you're just somebody who's pissed off about the fact that you've been gaslit and you're tired of it, or you've been looking for answers around certain challenges in your life, and you know other people in your circle that have those same challenges, and you just want to make a collective difference for women's health. That's what this program is. I'm going to teach you TCM fundamentals from the very beginning. You're going to get some fertility awareness information. You're going to learn a little bit of basic tongue diagnosis. You're going to have a nice solid foundation. If you're an Eastern medicine professional coming into this, that part might be a little pedestrian for you, but the rest of it won't be, promise. I'm going to teach you pelvic steaming, like I said, some sound therapy. I have a Chinese nutritional therapy and background, so we're going to talk about diet and lifestyle, all of those kinds of things, ways that you can help women in every phase of their life. So once you have all those fundamentals, then we look at life stages. We go from um, just before a little girl starts her period, all the way through postmenopause, and why all of these tools are beneficial. What are the common pitfalls that people run into, that they go to their doctor, they have tests done, nothing's found, but I still have the symptom. Why is that? That's the world that I work in. Because there's a lot of things that don't necessarily pop on a diagnostic test, but you're still experiencing symptoms and you don't quite know why. Um, that is my wheelhouse. So, and a lot of times that space is one that not only is drastically underserved, but a lot of times gets prescribed hormones and and surgical intervention is suggested, and it might not be needed. It might just be a change in diet and lifestyle, for example. And then, and knowing enough about the cycle that learning to work with the cycle will eliminate those symptoms. So I teach you all of that. Um, so we work between September and May. Whew, can you tell the pregnant lady's starting to get overheated? Um, and you take a test at the end, but you're not alone after that. I have a membership for you to maintain contact with community. Now you get put into the bigger community, all of the people who have graduated from this program, which is really exciting because a rising tide lifts all boats. The more we have community, the more we have support of peers who understand this work, are energetically passionate about this work in the same way, it helps us to all be successful. So, in that group, as you start working with clients and you have questions, dump the questions into the conversational space. There will be an opportunity to have a dynamic discussion. Maybe there are other practitioners who's already seen this. Maybe this is a mystery and somebody else has a client that has the same thing and they're not sure where to start. It doesn't matter. I remember about interstitial cystitis when I first started working with it, and I was like, has anybody else dealt with this? But I didn't have anybody to ask because this is a new field, which is really exciting. So this way you have community to lean on. We have a community call once a month. There are tools available to you for practitioner support because when you're putting so much of your energy into the care of others, you need to pour back into your cup. So that is available to you after you graduate, as well as continuing ed classes. So let's say you're a postpartum doula and you're like, oh, I'd really love to add steaming to my toolkit. I can think of, hey, a few fertility awareness educators, right? This could be a very helpful part to your toolkit. But let's say you're a postpartum doula and you want to specifically use, I don't know, pelvic steaming and dietary support in your work with your clients. So y- once you complete this course, you'll have the foundational pieces that you need in order to be able to start doing that. But then I'll go and offer a continuing ed because you're a postpartum doula, specifically talking about a deeper dive into postpartum care. For example, this year we covered miscarriage recovery. um I have like labor preparation and postpartum plans. I've had, I have a list running because I take feedback from students. What are you passionate about? What do you want to specialize in? Now that you have this basic information, where do you want to take it in terms of the work that you're doing? I create continuing eds around that. And if it isn't my specialty, I have lots of colleagues that I reach out to that I can team teach with. So the sky's the limit in terms of being able to enrich your educational foundation and be able to specialize in what feels aligned to your soul. So this program meets you where you're at. It teaches you the foundational piece and then builds the house on top of it. There's nothing assumed in terms of your knowledge base going into this. So if you do not have any herbal background, that's okay. If you do not have any familiarity with Chinese medicine at all, that's okay. I am meeting you where you're at. We are starting at the ground floor and we are building a nice solid foundation and building on top of it. So, yes, I am teaching it. That's the structure. September to May, we meet live 3 weeks on, and you're off 1 week so that you have time to catch up. If your life has gotten a little crazy busy, or if you've missed a live and you need to watch it, our lives are 2 hours on Tuesday nights. They are starting on September 3rd, like I said at the beginning. Um, the only change to that schedule of 3 weeks in a row and then 1 week off is me going into labor, which the little man will come whenever he decides he's going to come. Um, so that's the only schedule flexibility that I'm asking for is September. And then everything will be a regular, predictable schedule after that, but it will only still be 3 weeks on in September. We just might have to play with which week is off, depending on what's happening with my physical body. Um, and then, oh, the other big question that I get a lot is about tuition. I have had so many people who are super excited about this program and then take a look at the tuition and go, holy crap. No holy craps. Okay. This program is less than most certifications for holistic wellness. Like, I did a lot of research at the beginning part of this program to see what was out there for holistic women's health practitioner programs. And there are health coaches, there are holistic health practitioner programs. I have not found, as of right now, and I've done my due diligence, specifically for women, holistic women's health practitioner program. So this is one of a kind. Um, I had an ultrasound technician say, "Oh my gosh, like that would be so cool. I would be really interested in doing something like that." So it doesn't matter what your background is. If you are passionate about making a change in women's health, this is the program for you. And I'll teach you everything else you need to know. The passion, the alignment with your calling, the alignment with your heart. Does this feel good in your body? Is this something I'm being called to do? If the answer is yes to any of those questions, you need to be in my class. We'll figure out the rest. Okay. So tuition can be done weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, pay in full. It does not matter. Okay. We can make this work for your budget. Usually, I try to have people all paid by the end of the program, just because in the past it's felt weird to me to have people still paying after they've graduated. But then I started thinking about it and I'm like, how is that different than when you go to college? You take out the loan You do the work, and then you're still paying for the degree 10 years afterwards, right? Anybody else in that ballpark? Thank God I'm done paying my student loans now, but I've done that, right? So this shouldn't be any different. I do not charge you interest. I am not a monster. I am looking for people who truly feel aligned with the calling to make a difference in other women's lives. That I'm looking for the energy, I'm looking for the alignment, I'm looking for the calling. This profession has the ability to change the future of women's health. And I really want you to be a part of it. And if that energy lives inside of you, then you need to be in my class. So we can make the finances work. So if you are a working professional and you get paid weekly, we can do weekly installments. No big deal. As long as you're comfortable with making payments after you graduate, I'm fine with it. I just want you to be in alignment with this work. The rest of it we can figure out. So if you have questions or you want to reach out to me and talk to me individually about your financial situation, about any other details about the program that maybe I didn't cover in this little FAQ, please reach out to me. I am on maternity leave now. So fielding questions about this program is my central focus. Registration ends on the 28th. Okay. I know this is Monday, the 26th. We're just a couple days out, but registration ends this week. And the reason for that is the fact that we start class next Tuesday. I want you to have enough time to get established, put in our system, and be able to receive all of the information to get set up so that you are ready to start class with us on Tuesday next week. Or, yeah, next week. Woo, next week. So, um, so reach out to me. Don't hesitate. We can schedule a one-on-one call. If you want to slide into my DMs and you have a very specific question based on everything that I've said, do not be a stranger. Okay. I am looking for the energy and the alignment and the calling, and that this feeling like of fulfilling a soul purpose, because the creation of this program came from my heart and soul, because the world needs this work. The world needs you to help make this difference for other people so that they aren't gaslit the way you were. They don't feel frustrated the way that you did. You know, they have the answers that we all should have been given as boilerplate information when we started our bleeding years. You are going to be that change for the future. So thank you so much for watching this. I know I've gotten a little long in the tooth, would have been something that my grandmother would have said. Um, but I wanted to make sure that I took the time to explain the format, to explain what's happening because of my maternity leave, and to let you know that we can figure out the financial side of it. So everything's figure outable. One of my favorite quotes, everything is figure outable. So if this calls to you, reach out to me. I would love to have you in class this year.